Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio while we're on Second 960. I want to introduce you to another business that has made use of the Digital Main Street program. Aaron Dahl, who is the founder and owner of a barbershop called Not Your Father's Barber, is calling in from the Bywood Market in downtown Ottawa. And he's also someone who has made use of this Digital Main Street program. Aaron, how are you? Welcome to our show.
I'm great, Brian. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So tell me, $2,500, does that actually make a difference?
You know what? It does. I think for anybody that's like myself that understands the importance of marketing digitally, but doesn't have the tools necessarily to do so, I think something like this is a great way to gain a little bit of an upper hand in the market share. Getting in touch with these guys, Rob Barber at Nexus Digital. He's a guy that used to come into the shop and get his hair cut, and he's just down the street from us, his business. And so, it was an easy connection. And so far, granted, we're still fairly new in the process. It's been a fantastic fit for us. So
you had to apply. Was the application grant process problematic?
No, I don't think it was problematic. I think that it was detailed. It was certainly somewhat time consuming, but I guess anytime someone's going to give away $2,500, they want to make sure that they're getting their information correctly and thoroughly. So, I don't think it was any more onerous than any other grant application that we've done.
Now, barbershops, you must have been closed for a lot of the last year and a half.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about this the other day. It was 7.5 out of 16 months is we were shut down. So we had a lengthy shutdown in March 2020 for a little over 3 months. And then again in February for about 6 weeks. And then again, beginning of April until June 30th. So, between 7 and 7.5 months, within a 16-month time frame, it was a challenge for sure.
And you reopened just a couple of weeks ago?
June 30th. So we've been open now for almost 4 weeks. Be 4 weeks on Wednesday, and boy, we're happy to be back at her.
Now, was there huge pent up demand? Like, did everyone come in with foot long hair?
Yeah, like myself as well. It's after a while you stop cutting it, and you just kind of, you almost let yourself go a little bit. And there was a lot of demand at the beginning for sure, especially, when we announced our reopening on June 30th, the phone doesn't stop ringing. We're getting Yelp messages and emails and Facebook and Instagram. So it's great. I mean, it's a fantastic problem to have when you reopen like that after a lengthy shutdown. You certainly don't mind answering all those calls from your long lost clients.
Now, the last person I interviewed that made use of this program actually named their business after their father. And you, ironically enough, call your barbershop Not Your Father's Barbershop. Why the title?
Yeah, well, you know what? I was actually, it's funny that you ask. The friend of mine that inspired this name he's from Vancouver, and he was just in town. He went home today. And I remember having a conversation on the phone with him, and I couldn't figure out, we're kind of a sports themed barbershop, and we have a little coffee cafe in there as well. And I just couldn't come up with a name that didn't sound kind of kitschy or a bit corny, sports clips or sports cuts or whatever. And, he asked me on the phone, he said, "What do you want this to be?" And I said, "I don't know. It's just Not Your Old Man's Barbershop." And so we started to play around with that a little bit. And that's where Not Your Father's Barber came from.
But isn't the Father's Barbershop where you went and you got lots of good sports news and what was going on?
It is. And I think that we're a really great combination of old school feel and style, but with a bit of a modern twist. So, we specialize in all the old school barber techniques, straight razor shaves and hot towels. We love stuff like that, and we love doing it. But, we also have 40-inch big screen 4K TVs at each station and comfortable chairs, free Wi-Fi, complimentary coffee. So, I guess my dad's barbershop, where my dad used to take me, it was all just guys and guy talk. And this is a lot more. We talk a lot about music and culture, and, we have female clients and kids, families, old guys, young guys. It's a great mix. And so, as much as my memories of going to the barbershop with my dad are something that kind of stick with me. And I feel like this is the same type of thing, just with a bit of a modern twist.
Okay. And so you've twisted it with a bunch of social media. Tell me what social media stuff you did.
Well, we always had an Instagram page and a Facebook page and Twitter, but it's having the tools and being able and having the knowledge to use them is totally different. So we went to a few different companies, and the one that really stuck out for us was Nexus Digital down the street. Right now they're in the process of trying a bunch of different ads and different mediums to see what works for us and what type of radius we should be using in terms of doing our advertising. And they're slowly kind of feeling it out and narrowing it down and trying to find the best strategy and kind of policies for us going forward. So like I said, it's, hire people way smarter than you and surround yourself with those people, and you'll probably do very well. And Rob Barber and his team at Nexus, they've been great for us. So
the $2,500, you spent it all on social media through this one company.
Yeah, I mean, some of it goes towards actually spending on the platforms. So when you do any type of advertising in social media, of course, there's a cost associated with that to boost those posts. And then Rob and his team, they kind of make the decisions in terms of where to advertise, when to advertise, what types of ads work best for us. And so part of the money goes to them and part of the money goes to Facebook and Instagram and the rest of them. But, they've been extremely generous for us. We're a neighbor. I won't, certainly not doing it for free, but, taking us on as a client when they spend a lot of time specializing with larger corporations and companies, that type of expertise is hard to come by.
Now, if you already had a Facebook and Instagram, Twitter account, and you understood how important social media is, why'd you have to get government money?
I think for us, I mean, especially during a pandemic, having the money to invest in something like that it's a hard pill to swallow. You want to pay your staff, you need to keep paying the lease, the hydro bills don't go away. And so when someone offers you $2,500 and earmarks it towards a specific project like social media marketing, I think you jump on that. And for us, it was an opportunity. We'd spent some money doing those types of ads and boosting posts and trying to get some foothold that way. But again, until you have a really clear picture on what you want and where you want to go, and having the background and the knowledge to understand fully how to maximize your return on investment, it's kind of like just throwing it in the wall or at the wall and you hope it sticks. And these guys are experts. They know exactly, they know the business. They did the research on our business. And
what's stuck the best? Has it been testimonials or pictures of great haircuts or celebrities or what?
You know what? I think that there's a little bit of everything in that right now. Definitely the haircuts and advertising and showing off the products of the clients walking out. For us, that's the most satisfying thing. We love to see that smile on people's face when they leave. But, sometimes it's just still images. Sometimes it's videos. And sometimes it's mornings and sometimes it's afternoons. And they're at the point right now where they're slowly trying to kind of narrow the focus down to the specific ads that work better than others. And then they're going to go forward that way. And I will say that, going into this, not really knowing what the return was going to be on that initial investment. And I mean, again, it's not our investment that we applied for that grant and, we wanted to make best use of that. But I can tell you for sure going forward that the returns that we're seeing now using a company like Digital Main Street, it's foolish not to continue because the return on investment, even if the investment that you make is, you only get a 50% return on that right away. If you do a good job and you're good to people and you provide great customer service and a great product at a good price, those people will keep coming back. And that's the focus that we have right now.
Let's break this down if we could. So why does someone go to a specific barber to get a haircut? Is it because of the quality of the haircut? Or is it because of the interaction with the haircutter? Or is it because of the ambience of the barbershop?
Well, I think the answer is yes to all three of those things. Ideally, if you don't offer a great product, if the haircut's not great, then obviously it doesn't matter how sparkling the conversation is or how good the coffee is, people aren't going to come back. So, we focus on the needs of the client first. We want to make sure that every client that comes into the shop gets exactly what they want. But then when you add on those value added things, right? Like a great coffee or just a bottle of water, complimentary bottle of water, or a soft drink on the way out, conversation on, sports or politics or one of our young barbers is a World War I buff, and a lot of his clients love to come in and talk about old war stuff. One of my other barbers, Patrick, he's a musician. And so a lot of his clients are people that he knows from the industry or that he's met working in local bars and things like that. So everybody kind of has.
And you're the sports nut?
Well, yeah, I was a bit of a sports nut. I spent some time working in sport, actually quite a long time working in sport. And so, my dad was a sports fan. I'm a sports fan. And so, so a lot of the things and the memorabilia that are on the wall in the shop, jerseys and photos and things that we've accumulated over the years. It adds. So
your local team didn't do so well this year.
My local team didn't do so well this year, but I won't say it too loud in Ottawa, but I'm a Habs fan, so I was pretty enthralled with the playoffs this year, even though we came up a bit short. But I love NFL football, I love CFL football, baseball. So I mean, if there's a sport on TV, chances are I have at least a working knowledge of what's going on.
What's happening with hair? You're sporting quite an impressive beard. Have lots of guys gone to the COVID beard?
Yeah, a lot of guys have gone to the COVID beard. And then the cool thing is now it's, when they start coming into the shop, and it's really actually just been in the last week and a half or so that we've been able to do facial treatments. So anything that was under the mask until I think it was the 16th of July, we weren't doing any of those services. So just now in the last week and a half or so, we're getting all those COVID beards coming in. And guys want them shaped up and trimmed, and not everybody's coming in and taking them off. I think people are getting used to the beards, and now they're just trying to learn a little bit how to take care of them and how to keep them looking sharp.
So do you think that we're going to have a lot more facial hair going forward?
I think, you know what, I think that it'll probably, like everything else, it'll correct itself, especially in the summer. This Ottawa humidity, it's not always easy to have a big sweater on your face, but I think it's, my hair is certainly a lot longer than it usually is. The beard's probably a little bit longer than it usually is, but my wife digs it. And so I'll keep going with it for now.
Someone told me that not the mullet, but something close to the mullet was coming back, that people were wearing their hair a lot longer at the back.
A lot longer in the back. Yeah. Party in the back for sure. And they're, it's not shaved up the way that it used to be on the sides, but they're keeping a bit of length, and they can comb it out and make it look fancy if they're going out. But it also looks pretty good coming out from under a baseball hat.
And hats have been a big deal. People just on Zoom all the time, you see people with baseball hats and whatnot. Is that just covering up, or is that a new trend that we're all going to be wearing hats a lot more often?
You know what? I think that's covering up. And I know for myself, for sure, I probably wore a baseball hat more this year than I have in my entire life combined. It's just a lot easier, especially not usually having long hair. And you'd think owning a barbershop, you'd still be able to have some favor with being able to get a haircut during COVID. But, we didn't want to break the rules, and it didn't feel like it was fair to be getting haircuts when no one else could. So I found myself wearing the baseball hat a lot more this year than usual.
One would think that a barbershop's clientele comes from a fairly constrained diameter of geography, and social media, and internet is to advertise to the globe, to the world. And so I would have thought, like outdoor or something like that, or just, knocking on the doors of the local places and joining the Rotary or whatever would have been a better way to connect up with people. Why has social media been successful?
Social media is, and again, my understanding around social media is limited, but what I'm learning as I go along is that, understanding what trends and being able to actually target specific areas in terms of your marketing is really important. And, we have great visibility on our street. We're right on the corner of the Barber Market. We're on Murray Street. There's a lot of traffic that goes by, but, you can drive down the same street 100 times and miss a sign or miss a business. And so, we have great foot traffic. We have great proximity to the rest of the market, but we're able to hire this company to really, really focus on specific areas. And yeah, we do a lot of marketing within a 3, 4, 5 kilometer radius, but we also have, like, once this pandemic kind of slowly grinds to a halt, people start coming back to work. We're going to have a lot more people downtown. A lot of the clients that we're missing right now are people that work in the Byron market or work in Centertown, a close walk to the market. So, those are the people that we're missing right now because they're working from home. Once those people start coming back, we're going to start to see a bump in clientele. But, we've also really focused our marketing on a quite a small circle, to your point, 3, 4 kilometers. And there's a huge residential area right around where we live in Gatineau, Hull, Ottawa, Lowertown, Centertown, and the Byron market. And so we focus our energies on those areas, and the return's been great. So you're right. I mean, you can, as a corporation, you can use this to advertise far and wide, but you can also really specify specific areas that work for you and focus your attention there.
If 20 something thousand people made use of this $2,500, it works out to like, what was that? $20 million. Is that worthwhile for the government?
Well, I think it's worthwhile. I think that if the companies use it well, and there's an investment in these companies to go out and
$55 million.
55 million?
Is 55 million what you want your government to spend on helping guys like you with stuff they should be doing anyway?
Well, it's money that goes out to the businesses and then ends up going to other businesses already. So that $2,500 came to me, and then it goes down the street to Rob Barber and his group, and then he pays his guys, and then those guys go out and spend that money in the community. So I think you could make the argument that that's money that they're putting back into the economy right now, to keep people employed, to help businesses recover and pivot in a really difficult time.
You also, I presume, got CSRS, and you got some of the help from the landlord-tenant monies?
We did. We tried to take advantage of as many grants and programs as we could. What
do you think of government grants and their response? Have they done a good job or a bad job?
I personally feel like they've done everything that they could. I think that you'll get the argument from some business owners that they wanted to see more. For us, it was a challenge. We can't do takeout haircuts. We can't do curbside pickups. Our business is personal services. So nail salons, barbershops, hair salons, massage places like RMTs and things like that. That was really tough. But at the same time, like, what exactly do you want? What should your government be responsible for? I guess is the question. And I feel like with the rent subsidies, the wage subsidies, some of the forgivable grants, it kept us above water. And I don't think that they should have to go the whole way and prop up businesses to the point where they may have been pre-pandemic. But I think they did a pretty darn good job of keeping people alive and afloat, throughout this. And I think now, as we're starting to come out of it, we're seeing a lot more storefronts that are still occupied than we would have.
That would have been bankrupt if it hadn't been for the government monies.
We would have closed, guaranteed. Like, it just, when you look at it, it just would have been untenable had there been no rent subsidies, had there not been wage subsidies. It wouldn't have taken more than about 7 or 8 months probably to empty the coffers.
How was your landlord?
Guy named Larry Poirier. He's a local guy. He actually owns a bunch of massage places called Massage Addict here in town. Lives close by. Just kind of a local Ottawa guy with owns a building and happy to lease it to me. And
he played along with you. He went and got the government monies.
And then some. Like, he went and got the government money. He did the applications. Him and his wife did the applications on our behalf. I had an apartment. My apartment prior to my wife and I living here, I lived above the shop. And so, you know, I had a little apartment there, and he was giving me a break on the tenant rent and things like that. And so Larry went, you know, he certainly went above and beyond, and it's a great relationship. We've been in that building over 6 years now, and I think that we take pretty good care of it, and he's taking pretty good care of us.
If people want to check you out in Ottawa and come to your shop, is there a website they need to go to?
Absolutely. www.notyourfathersbarber.com. You can book appointments on there. You can read some testimonials. You can learn a little bit more about our history. Location gives you contact info, email, phone, and stuff like that. So another reason why Nexus has been so good for us, they retooled our website as well. So you should go check that out.
And do you go to like Barber High School or university or college, or like how does one become a barber?
Well, I'm not actually a barber. This was a business idea that I had when I was kind of transitioning, working out of sport. And it was always something that I wanted to do. I loved going to the barbershop with my dad. I loved going to the barbershop as a teenager. I just really enjoyed the vibe and the camaraderie. So, and it's funny, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is I always thought it was kind of recession proof. You know, guys are always going to want to get their hair cut. So we tested that theory during this pandemic for sure. And luckily came out on the right end. But you know, it's in terms of becoming a barber, you know, Patrick, for example, one of our more experienced barbers, he actually went through and did barber training, you know, 30 years ago. And he's a college and school of trades or whatever it is in Ontario. So he's a member of that, which isn't really applied to barbering anymore. It's more hairdressing. You know, we have John, who's 21 years old and did a 6-week barber course 3 years ago, right out of high school. And then he came and worked as an apprentice with us right after that. And he's been with us for a few years now next week. Nikita, she's a hairdresser. So she actually started off in hairdressing school and then pivoted to men's hair. And Nikita's been with us from the first day. So July 1st, 2015 is when we opened, and she was one of the original crew. So we're lucky to still have her.
Aaron Dahl, founder, owner of Not Your Father's Barbershop in Bywood Market in Ottawa. I come to Ottawa quite frequently. I'm going to have to come check you out. Thanks for joining us.
Love to buy you a coffee, Brian. Thanks for your time.
Look forward to it. Well, that's our show for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm on every night, Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock on 960 AM, or you can stream me online at www.saga960am.ca. All my podcasts, videocasts are on briancrombie.com, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Audible Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Speakeasy. How am I doing, Aaron, in social media?
I think you got them all.
I should have got the $2,500.
Absolutely. Well, maybe the next time we apply, we'll hire you.
You know, we've interviewed 2 people tonight on social media, and it's critical in today's environment. And I thank the government for doing the right things with landlord tenants, with wages, with as Aaron said, the forgivable grants. And also with this Main Street media, digital media. I think it makes a lot of sense, and people have taken smart advantage of it. Good night, everybody.